I am a big fan of point and shoot cameras, film cameras, 35mm point and shoots, whatever. I tweeted from the Moment account, best underrated camera, but shout out to Dan Chung for responding with this. Canon Sure Shot Supreme. So I quickly went over to eBay to check how much that camera is, and sure enough, it's pretty affordable. I found one here for $69. I'm gonna offer them, let's offer them $49.99. Okay, it looks like they counter offered at $60. Must be an auto. We're doing it 60 bucks. Okay. All right, 60 bucks. Let's see if this thing, when I get it in about 9 days, is awesome, and if it's a good point and shoot option for you.
Day 2, day 3, day...
What's this? Alexa, pause. I'm trying not to get demonetized so we can give our ad dollars away. Decent pack job. Okay. 60 bucks, not bad, okay. Okay. Wow, this thing's kind of chunky. Got that official. Yo, this thing is in good shape actually. 38mm f2.8 fixed lens. Very clean. This one, push it down and it shuts it. Today is actually the 4th of July, so if you're watching this from America, happy 4th of July. We might go buy some fireworks at this place tonight, and if so, it's a vibe. Oh, what's good? Freaking. The thing is, it's a test roll because it looks in really good shape, but I don't know, so I might not want to waste my Portra 800. We are gonna go with the tried and true Kodak Ultramax 400. This is basically your drugstore, cheap kind of grocery store film. Yeah. All right, for the first inaugural photo, we got Barry here, my daughter, in a custom USA shirt for the 4th of July, but we're gonna do a mirror pick. And can you back it up a tiny bit so you guys see it? Okay, ready, Barry? 1, 2, 3. Oh, sick. Yeah, that sounds kind of cool. Sick. We are back. Film has been developed. I do all my scanning at home, and as in scanning, I actually use negative supplies setup, which I figured I'd just tell you in this video because it's kind of fun, and it works extremely well. Canon Sure Shot Supreme. My overall thoughts, freaking sick camera. This little thing is actually, at least this one I got, worked flawlessly. The viewfinder is okay. It's not as good as my Olympus Muju. This is my favorite point and shoot film camera. But for 60 bucks on eBay, granted, used, but in great condition, I'm really happy to just have this camera now as kind of a beater point and shoot, something I don't have to worry about. Enough of me rambling. I'll show you how this thing works. It's pretty freaking sick. You basically put your film through this. They make this awesome, really light, accurate table thing. This whole setup, you put your camera on top. This is the Fuji X-T4 with an 80mm macro. You kind of need macro-ish lens or something that you can close focus with. Take the photos. I have it on a 2-second timer so I don't introduce any shake. Shoot it in RAW. From there, I put it in my Lightroom, and I use Negative Lab Pro. Just to be really clear, I don't really care. I'm not like a perfectionist when it comes to scanning film. I just like the tones. I like weird dust, sometimes borders that go in. So I'm not super particular when it comes to scanning film. If I'm shooting like a roll of 120 or 35 that I like absolutely want to like nerd out and care about, I'll probably just get it developed and scanned from a pro lab and pay the extra money. But for all my like just hobby shooting from trips, I just like how kind of crusty it can look sometimes. So that's why doing it at home with something like this is rad. We do actually sell this whole setup in the Moment shop, which is sick. So a little plug for this here. But yeah, I'll show you how it works because I'm really hyped on it and something I use all the time. So $5 pretty much to get a roll of 35 developed at my local shop. So then I bring it home and I digitize it all in one go, and then I'm good to go. All right, so we just finished up just taking all the photos. Now I know I could tether the camera right to my computer and have Lightroom opening, but for the sake of it, I'm just going right to the SD card just because I'm a simple guy. This Negative Supply also makes the basic film carrier kit, which is perfectly fine. I was just lucky enough they sent this to me to use. This one has the little scroll wheel, and they have some other accessories you can buy to have this like on auto, and they got a whole setup going. But this basic film carrier kit, a little more plasticky. This one's solid metal, but it does the exact same thing. As you notice, I was pushing most of that in by hand anyway because they're cut to like 4 shots a strip. So I was hardly using the little wheel, but this is nice for a little accuracy. But this, essentially the exact same thing. Put it on top, feed your film through. The other thing, I'm shooting in RAW, and we'll go to the computer now in a second, but I'm shooting on RAW, 5.6 aperture, keeping the exposure just like really normal. So at 0 or right in the middle from what the camera thinks. And yeah, you can do a lot of adjustments still on Lightroom and everything, but giving you that RAW file gives you the most juice in the image file. So let's get those imported now and see you at the computer. If you've ever imported any photos, this is Lightroom Classic. You just treat these just like RAW files at first. So we'll go ahead and click import, and you'll see them all go in. And then we'll go over to develop. And the first thing I actually do with this is make sure you want to select the white balance because you're working with negative, so it's kind of backwards. So you'll actually select the white balance and just click a black target, which is like the frame border or anything that's black in the frame. The whole thing will scroll over here, highlight, click, and sync, just so that it all has the same white balance for batching. And then what I actually usually do is before I use Negative Lab Pro, I go ahead and crop. We'll just go off the first photo. I keep it custom. You can totally keep it original if you want, but sometimes the frame borders look cool in different shots. So I like to have just free reign over the crop. And sometimes I even like to leave that little border edge per photo. Plus, if you want to rotate it a little, you can. So for this first one, we'll leave the sprockets. This shot definitely has some gunk on it, which I thought I cleaned, but yeah, so you can go through if you want, crop every photo at a time, but what I'll do now is instead of boring you with some, I'll just go through. Again, I haven't even seen these, but let's go through and pick one that's kind of, this one definitely looks interesting. So what I'll do is crop it. It seems to like to lock every time, but whatever. I ain't no photographer. No, I'm just kidding. I am a bit. Okay, rotate this, and then I'll show you when the magic happens. So let's leave that little edge border there. Let's leave some of these little sprockets there, and then done. So here is our negative. Now, from shooting it on this, the Canon SureShot Supreme, it's like a tongue twister, to scanning it in with the Negative Supply Co. We're getting it developed. So now I have a plugin for Lightroom called Negative Lab Pro, and I just hit Control N, and it brings up this plugin. And over here you have source is digital camera because I shot in a RAW file. There's some literature right here, tells you about that. You can actually choose what type of scanner you use from None, Basic, Frontier, Noritsu. I like that one. Pre-saturation, I just leave at default. And then apply, and here we go, the magic. Oh wait, I didn't hit convert. Control N, brings back up. Oh, it wants to convert 38. No, I just want 1, bro. And then Control N on the Mac, convert negatives, boom. Let's do it, see how it looks. This is the first look at the colors we shot. Okay. All right, I love it. I love that. Sick. Okay, it's definitely not as crazy sharp of a lens. I'll have to look at a couple other shots. Just kind of your basic point and shoot quality. Granted, I also just shot some like cheaper film. But in here, I really like cinematic rich. I'll just kind of walk you through what I do. Cinematic rich, you can adjust the brightness a little bit. So this is basically like if you were a film lab, you can adjust all these settings to tweak how your final scan looks. Add a little contrast if you want. I do like to push up the whites a bit. That looks good. Oh yeah, and the last thing, I always do this for white balance. When you're shooting with this setup, I go to, I do auto warm. And that gives it a nice warm kind of Kodak tone that I like. I turn the temp down. Wait, that's funny actually, because it's like a Kodak tone, but I shot it with a Fuji to digitize it anyways. Then you can adjust the temp a little bit if that auto warm was too much. So that looks good. And yeah, there we go, apply. And then that is your image in Lightroom. You would essentially save that just like you would, you know, a regular old JPEG or whatever. Let's go do a couple more because that shot was, let's try to pick a different looking one. This one's interesting, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to eventually do them all, so you'll hopefully see them all in this video, but don't want to bore you with everything here. So again, we'll crop it. Rotate it a little bit to match the bottom of the frame. I always can you can always recrop after you developed it. So I just might as well leave myself with a little more of the fun stuff. Boom, Control N, convert negatives. Oh, okay, yeah. That looks so good. It's like a surprise every time you hit the convert negative button because it looks so different. And then, yeah, I go up to cinematic rich. If you look through each of these, it's super cool to see how much flexibility you have. Like right there, lab hard. Dude, labs go hard. That looks so crunchy. And kind of in that scenario, looks really good. You can go down to linear. It's just a whole different tone of looks. So shout out to the film gods like Volandes. I feel like sometimes I see his shots and they look really like a flat, and I'm stoked on them. Like medium format kind of has a flat look. Depending on your shot, if you want to be in here and get that look, I can't remember how much Negative Lab Pro costs. I think it's like $100 or something like that. I think it's well worth it. If this is your hobby, something you love, getting a setup that you can then not overpay, because eventually I do want to learn to develop at home as well, which would be super fun. I know it's a lot of money, but it's definitely a privilege to be able to do this. So I like cinematic rich, and then I'll boost the contrast and the brightness a bit on this one, and then whites up to give up that extra punch. I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just going with what I like here. And then I'll do auto warm. Juicy, dude. Turn that down a little. And apply. And that is, gosh, okay, that looks good. Let's go full screen and just admire real quick the Canon Sure Shot Supreme. It looks like a point and shoot, but it's this feels good. This might actually be the most underrated 35mm point and shoot camera right now because they're not blown out of proportion. Oh, wait, one more shot. Okay, last shot. There was one shot where this lady was on like this quad that I thought was sick. That one's kind of legit too. Definitely very visual at like a fireworks stand. Oh, Chad's fireworks. Okay. Okay, this one. I was kind of hyped on this, kind of street photo style. So crop it up. Custom unlock. Thank you. Rotate that bad boy a little bit. There we go. And again, remember that white balance tool. We did that all to all these files at the beginning. So this is just your whole roll of film that you're kind of working off of. You could probably batch convert all these negatives too. I just like doing one at a time because it's fun. I definitely, oh, okay, that's actually pretty sick. That's pretty sick. Dang, okay. Lab standard looks good, but let's do a cinematic rich. We want this look, yep, that looks really nice. It gives kind of a more subtle look on some of the contrast. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then auto warm. Yeah, a little warm. Wow, that's so good. Yo, this came from like a digital scan, not a flatbed. Look, hold on. Okay, so this is my normal flatbed scanner when I was like getting into scanning some film at home to save some money. This takes forever. And it's fine. You get a lot of dust that you have to deal with. So this is just the Epson V600. The quality of this is so good compared to that. I mean, that's good too, and I'll scan it in and everything, but this is just as good. And I'm getting this juicy raw file now that I can manipulate. This, like, to me, is perfectly fine. Dang, this looks so sick, actually. Turn this light off, guys. Sorry. It's a little bright. Okay, I'm going to just do my normal here. That's fine. Yo. Full screen. There we go. Okay, so that's going to be this video. If you guys are curious, good luck finding this camera on eBay before I buy them all. And yeah, I'm pumped. If you watch this whole video, subscribe. I like doing film stuff, so I might do a little more of this. Again, this wasn't a full tutorial on the film carrier kit from Negative Supply, but if you need more instructional videos, they have some that are awesome, but you can buy this thing from our shop, which is sweet. And yeah, I'm gonna definitely still be using this a bunch throughout the summer, and I'm definitely gonna be carrying this around like everywhere I go now. So this is a very random kind of long video, but please smash like if you did like it, or leave a comment. It does help support the channel and the video, and the more views we get, we're giving away our ad dollars. So yeah, share this video if you think someone would enjoy what I talked about. So all right, peace.